All right, this video we're just going to do a very quick, brief introduction of radian and degree measure. And let's take down the four definitions. We'll kind of talk about this more in detail in the class tomorrow. The degree measure, this is kind of what we know. We know how to measure things in degrees. Degrees, kind of another way of stating this. This is kind of like your rotation. You know, if your degree is 90 degrees, you kind of know how you rotate 90 degrees. So that's what degree measures. It kind of measures rotation there. Now to look at the definitions, for this first one, I'm really just going to show you a picture for the definition. We're going to look at a whole bunch of angles in the coordinate plane. And when we look at angles in the coordinate plane, right, I have to have two sides for an angle. This positive side that I'm highlighting in the red, the positive side of the x-axis, this is what's called our initial side. So make sure to take that down. Every angle that we draw in the coordinate plane always has the same initial side. It's always the positive part of the x-axis. Right? It goes to the right of the origin. Now the other side can rotate. You can rotate it. I'm going to draw this other side of this angle. I'll say this angle is theta. This other side is called the terminal side. Okay, I guess you could say it's terminal because it's where the angle ends. And this measures the rotation here. Now the terminal side, I could extend that into the second quadrant. I could have it go in the third. I could have it go all the way in the fourth. If I have this terminal side go all the way around, it gives me a circle, which is 360 degrees. So we're just rotating right there. So the terminal side will change, but the initial side always stays the same. I'm going to say this is, let's say this is 45 degrees. Okay, let's move over to the second definition. Okay, second definition, when you measure positive angles, you measure counterclockwise. Okay, so make sure to take that down. Let's make this a little bit smaller so you can see everything. Alright, even smaller there. Okay. So it kind of makes sense right there. When I rotated, when I go this direction, I'm going counterclockwise, and I measure it to be positive 45 degrees. Now, if I do the opposite, and I always start with the initial side, right? Okay, so here, if I go up this way counterclockwise, it's positive 45. I always start at the initial side. If I go down here, I'm going clockwise. That would be negative 45 degrees. Okay, so if I drew a quick picture here. Let's draw this quick picture. All right, I always start at the initial side. If I go down 45 degrees, let's say this is the terminal side, this angle we say is negative 45 degrees. Easy way I think of it, if you go up from the initial side, your angle is positive. If you go down from the initial side, your angle is negative. Okay, now coterminal angles. These are angles that share the same side. And I'm just going to give you a quick example. Since we did from here to here is 45 degrees, I'm going to measure it another way. I'm going to make it a negative angle and go around this way. Okay, so I'm going to draw that. So if I start this initial side, right, I know if I go here it's 90 degrees, that's another 90 degrees, that's 180, another 90 degrees, that's 270 degrees, and if I went to here, this rotation would be 315 degrees. But since I'm going below the initial side, I'm going to say this is negative 315. So I could say 45 degrees and negative 315 degrees. These are coterminal. Right? They have everything the same. Same initial side, same terminal side, but one was measured a positive direction, the other was measured a negative direction. Okay? Last thing I'm just going to give you is radian measures, and I'm just going to leave you with this. Radian measures, you're almost doing the same thing. Instead of measuring the rotation, you're going to measure the length of the arc. So it's going to kind of deal with circumference. So say measure arc length. Okay, so this just gives you a very, very brief intro. Just know the main things: how you measure an angle to be positive, how you measure an angle to be negative, We'll definitely go over this again tomorrow in class.